Hey, Laura, we want to talk to you about a few things this morning, and I know something's on your mind. What about the language coming from the left this week, right? I mean, public opinion starting to turn on Obamacare. Take a listen to this, and we'll get your reaction.
Sure.
We're not going to bow to Tea Party anarchists who deny the mere fact that Obamacare is the law. We will not bow to Tea Party anarchists who refuse to accept the Supreme Court ruled Obamacare to be constitutional.
This is playing with fire. Legislative arsonists are at work when they start using the debt limit for their own agenda. I don't even like to use the word Republicans because this is a name that has been hijacked by a segment of the Republican Party, the Tea Party element.
You have never seen in the history of the United States the debt ceiling or the threat of not raising the debt ceiling being used to extort a president.
The name calling, not too far from now, they'll be calling each other poopy pants.
Right, kidnapping, let me just get extortion, arson, anarchy. I mean, they don't have kidnapping and rape, but I'm sure that will be on the list soon when they refer to what the Republicans have tried to do in Obamacare. Look, what we know is that as we're approaching this deadline of Obamacare's implementation, at least its partial implementation, given the fact that so many people, so many businesses are getting exemptions, okay? The bill continues to be less popular than it was the year before. I still call it a bill. Unfortunately, it's a law. And now we learn, even Politico today has a piece about how fewer people are going to be getting coverage than they anticipated, even low-income Americans. Yeah. A lot of people who are working, who are middle-class people, aren't going to get coverage through their employers now. And now more people are finding that the doctors that they loved throughout the years are beginning that process of either retiring or having their independent practices gobbled up by large hospital groups or other large practices. So the whole landscape of healthcare in this country, the patient-centered focus, is changing and not for the worse. And despite what the Democrats predicted, that everybody would start loving Obamacare, they can use all of the inflammatory crime rhetoric that they're using, but it's not going to change the fact that people just don't like this law.
Is it the right play to do it this way?
Now, what Ted Cruz is trying to do? Yeah. Yeah, well, look, I think you have to understand that I think he's doing what he's doing, right? Because the elites in both, to some extent, the Republican Party and the Democrat Party, for so long, on so many issues, have not listened to what the people are saying or what the people want. And they've done a lot of things, whether it's on this issue or stimulus or cylinder-type loans, that haven't really panned out. So yeah, I don't find myself surprised at all that Cruz has a lot of support in the grassroots for what he's doing. And sure, instinctively, that's where I am. I mean, my gut is with getting rid of this thing. But tactically, I'm more where, Crowdhammer is, that you're winning on this issue. Sure. So don't give the Democrats any leg up or any advantage at all on the chessboard. Why give them any help?
And what Ted Cruz did, essentially, is told the House and rallied the House and said, go fund the government, but just don't fund Obamacare. It gets to the Senate, it doesn't have the votes. You heard the angry rhetoric from Harry Reid and company. The president is beside himself with disdain. And now all of a sudden they're going to vote on it. They're going to kick it back to the House, and they could potentially shut down the government. Here's Charles Crowdhammer saying essentially what you said, Laura. Now's not the time.
No rational Republican wants to. I'm not even sure the irrational Republicans want to. The entire history of shutdowns, either the opposition, is the one that takes the hit. On Obamacare, the Republicans are winning. They're winning everywhere. Even the labor unions are up in arms against Obamacare. Why would you want to step in the way? It's the oldest adage in politics. When the other guy's committing suicide, get out of the room.
And one thing that he goes on to add is the fact that when he regards the Republicans as winning is in this particular budget, you've got the sequester. So you've got spending levels at a lower level, which is what a lot of conservatives stand for.
Yeah, well, which is driving the Democrats crazy, right? They hate the sequester. They don't like the fact that any power is being taken away from Washington and returned to the people. And the ultimate prize here, which I think a lot of conservatives forget about, is 2014 and 2016. The only way you're really going to get rid of so much of the scourge of bad governance is to get people in place who are far more common sense and realize that, we're leveraging our children's future to the hilt here on all of these issues. So in 14 and 16, conservatives have to win. If they don't win, then all bets are off, and we're going to get something a lot worse, I think, ultimately, than Obamacare. It'll morph into a single-payer system. So we have to be very smart on strategy, but also keep the principles. So
sequester is killing the military, though. It is cutting the budget. I give you that. But it's really hammering the military.
That's why, Brian, we can't get into a situation when we're $17 trillion in debt, and we can't get involved in foreign entanglements that suck the blood out of our budget and also, leave a lot of carnage in its wake. I mean, we're here because we had a lot of years where a lot of conservatives and liberals just blew off the fact that we were running huge budget deficits.
But the sequester was weighted to destroy the military more than anything else in the budget, and they thought that would keep Republicans from doing it. Instead, the military is just getting pummeled for no reason.
Yeah, well, the military certainly doesn't deserve it. That's for sure.